நீங்கள் பார்த்து கொண்டிருப்பது உங்கள் RSKV யூடியூப் சேனல்.
Income Tax Inspectors Exam 2021 Paper 4 Office Procedure. Question 1. What is the minimum annual target of each SAP in new internal audit system? 400 points. Question number 2. Which one is a minor penalty as per CCS CCA rules? Withholding of promotion. Question 3. In which of the following case tax arrears may not be treated as irrecoverable for the purpose of write-off? The assessee has stopped filing ITR. Question 4. A reference to a valuation officer can be made by the AO under section 142A. Question 5. Every application by an assessee for revision under section 264 shall be accompanied by a fee of rupees 500. Question 6. In which case no appeal lies against the penalty under CCS CCA rules? Any order passed by an inquiring authority in the course of an inquiry under Rule 14. Question 7. Power to reduce or waive penalty in certain cases is given to PCIT or CIT under Section 273A. Question 8. Members of family as per CCS Conduct Rules 1964 does not include wife or husband as the case may be separated from government servant by a decree or order of a competent court. Question 9. Rule dash of CCS Conduct Rules 1964 provides restriction regarding consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs. Rule 22. Under CCS LTC rules, change of hometown declared under accepted is allowed to change how many times during the service of a government servant? One time. Question 11. As per Rule 15 of CCS Conduct Rules, government servant may, without the previous sanction of the government, participate in sports activities as an amateur. Question 12. As per CCS leave rules, maximum earned leave that may be granted at a time is normal condition be 180 days. Question 13. CCS LTC rules shall apply to the person who are employed under a state government and who are in deputation with the central government. Question 14. If a retired government servant wishes to accept any commercial employment before the expiry of 2 years from the date of his retirement, he shall obtain the previous sanction of the government. For that purpose, he has to submit as application in Form 25. Question 15. Reimbursement of which fee is not permissible under Children Education Allowance, Transportation fee. Question 16. Up to which amount the head of department can grant honorarium per annum per employee? Rupees 2,500. Question 17. In which of the following case joining time is not admissible? Temporary transfer for a period not exceeding 180 days. Question 18. Distance between the old headquarters and new headquarters is 1,340 kilometers and necessarily involves continuous travel by road for 380 kilometers. What is the permissible joining time? 15 days. Question 19. Withdrawal from GPF is not permissible for depositing in fixed deposit scheme with a nationalized bank. Question 20. Traveling allowance TA is allowed but daily allowance DA is not allowed, in which case? Transfer. Question 21. Intimation under section 245 deals with set of refund of 1 year with demand of another year or several years. Question 22. Specified domestic transaction under section 92B A qualifies if aggregate of such transaction during the previous year with the assessee exceeds rupees 20 crores. Question 23. Penalty under Section 221 is levied for default in making a payment of tax. Question 24. Once the TRC is issued for any reason, if necessary, it can be cancelled by the TRO on his own. Question 25. Tax issue statistics are reported in which report? CAP 2. Question 26. INCI wing does not send this report on prosecutions filed. Question 27. Major head of security transaction tax is 0034. Section 28. Question 28. Section 245 of the Act empowers the assessing officer to set off the refund due to the assessee for 1 year against the tax arrears for any other year after giving an intimation in writing to such person of the action for adjustment. Adjustment refund orders, if issued manually, are to be prepared in favor of the Income Tax Department. Question 29. Some sections 140, 159, 160, etc. of the Income Tax Act 1961 envisage many situations where a person would not be able to attend to their income tax related affairs on their own. In such cases, their guardians or any other competent person can act on their behalf with specific authorization, which is not such as Section 161. Question 30. A sum of money due from an assessing officer to an assessee, example, to a shareholder in a company by way of refund under section dash of the Income Tax Act is a dash within the meaning of section 60 of the Code of Civil Procedure, and as such is subject to attachment in execution of a decree against the assessee to whom it is due under section 237 of the Income Tax Act is a debt within the meaning of section 60. Question 31. If the rectification rise for the annual year for which refund has been adjusted lie with the AO, he should initiate proceedings under section 154 as per law. The AO should give credit to all the prepaid taxes, including the taxes adjusted by the departments, and pass the rectification orders to arrive at the refund. In such cases, what is the time limit for passing rectifications order from the end of assessment year? No time limit. Question 32. Which of the do's and don'ts for issuing refunds is not correct? Head over RO in person to the assessee is not correct. Question 31. CPGRAM status report is sent every how many days? 7. Question 34. Under CAP 1, report demand difficult to recover is not shown under which head? Proactive demand. Question 35. Part A of survey report does not ask for name of the assessors surveyed. Question 36. Which one is not a quarterly report? Report on compliance management of SFT. Question 34. Under CAP 1, report demand difficult to recover is not shown under which head? Proactive demand. Question 35. Part A of survey report does not ask for name of the assessee surveyed. Question 36. Which one is not a quarterly report? Report on compliance management of SFT. Question 37. 2 only report on intimation regarding search action under section 132 of the Income Tax Act 1961 does not ask for addresses of the premises covered. Question 38. Demand difficult to recover cannot be of following type. demand compounded by department. Question 39. CAP2 does not ask for prosecutions compounded. Question 40. Total expenditure budget estimated for GOI in 21-22 is approximately 41 lakh crores. 41 lakh crores. Question 41. What is the approximate percentage share of direct tax revenue out of gross tax revenue? 50. Question 42. If the major head starts with 2, what does it represent? Revenue expenditure. Question 43. What is the minor head of tax under Black Money Act 109? Question 44. The power of condonation in cases of refund claims of more than rupees 50 lakhs lies with the CBDT. Question 45. Which section talks about time limit for completion of assessment or reassessment under Wealth Tax Act 1957? Section 17A. Question 46. No order of assessment or reassessment shall be made under Section 17 of the Wealth Tax Act 1957 if a notice under Section 17(1) is served after 1/4/2005 but before 1/4/2011. 9 months from the end of the financial year in which notice under Section 17(1) of the Wealth Tax Act is served. Question 47. Where the order under Section 23A(24) of the Wealth Tax Act 1957 is received by the Chief Commissioner or Commissioner as the case may be, the order under Section 25 is passed by the Commissioner on or after the first day of April 2005 but before the first day of the April 2011. What is the time limit for passing of a fresh assessment order? Within 9 months from the end of the financial year in which order under Section 23A or 24 of the Wealth Tax Act 1957 is received by the Commissioner or Chief Commissioner. Question 48. For annual year 2023-24, what is the time limit for completion of assessment under Section 143(3) of the Income Tax Act 1961? 12 months from the end of the assessment year in which the income was first assessable. Question 49. What is the maximum time that can be extended by the assessing officer to the assessee to furnish a report under Section 142(2)(a) of the Income Tax Act 1961? 180 days from the date on which the direction under Section 142(2)(a) of the Income Tax Act 1961 is received by the assessee. Question 50. Penalty under Section 272BBB for failure to comply with the provisions of Section 206 CA is Rs 10,000. Question 51. Additional time period of dash can be granted by Principal Commissioner or Commissioner to give effect to an order where it is not possible on the part of the assessing officer to give effect to an order under Section 250 or 254 or 260 or 262 or 263 or 264 of Income Tax Act 1961 wholly or partly otherwise than by making a fresh assessment or reassessment. 6 months can be granted. Question 52. Where an order under Section 250 or 254, 260 or 262, 263 or 264 of the Income Tax Act 1961 has been received by the Principal Chief Commissioner or Chief Commissioner, Principal Commissioner or Commissioner on or after 1/4/2019, which requires the verification of any issue by way of the assessee or some other persons or where opportunity of being heard is to be provided to the assessee. What is the time limit for giving effect to such order? 12 months from the end of the financial year in which such order has been received by the Principal Chief Commissioner or Chief Commissioner, Principal Commissioner or Commissioner. Question 53. In cases where the last authorizations for search is conducted under Section 132 or requisition is executed under Section 132A of the Income Tax Act 1961, after 1/4/2019, what is the time limit for completion of assessment of each assessment year referred to Clause B of Section 153A of the Income Tax Act 1961. 12 months from the end of the financial year in which last of authorizations of search under Section 132 or requisition under Section 132A is executed. Question 54. When a reference is made under Section 92 CA bar 1 of the Income Tax Act 1961, in a case where last of authorizations for search under Section 132 or requisition under Section 132A has been executed, the time limit for completion of the assessment shall be executed by 12 months. Question 55. Who is the competent authority to impose penalty under Section 271D or 271DA or 271E of the Income Tax Act 1961? Joint Commissioner. Question 56. In case where the relevant assessment or other order is a matter of revision under Section 263 or 264 of the Income Tax Act 1961, what is the time limit for imposition of penalty? 6 months from the end of the month in which such order is passed. Question 57. What is the constitution of Local Committee for Write-off of Demand? 3 officers of the level of additional CIT. Question 58. What is the monetary ceiling of write-off by the sub-zonal or regional committee? Demand over rupees 1 lakh and up to rupees 10 lakh. Question 59. Presently, what is the ceiling above which irrecoverability certificates are to be issued by the TRO? Irrecoverable demands above rupees 2000. Which section talks about time limit for completion of assessment or reassessment under Wealth Tax Act 1957? Section 17A. Question 61. Who shall ensure that all monetary transactions in a specific DDO charge are entered in a cash book in the prescribed form? Drawing and disbursing officer. Question 62. The cash book should be maintained in form GAR3 or bar TR4. Question 63. In the case of each assessment year falling within 6 assessment years referred to in Class B of Section 153A of the Income Tax Act 1961, assessment has to be completed within a period of dash from the end of the financial year in which last of the authorization for search under Section 132 or for requisition under Section 132A of the Income Tax Act 1961 was executed in the matter of search conducted under Section 132, requisition executed under Section 132A of the Income Tax Act 1961 prior to 1/4/2018. Answer 21 months. Question 64. All dash transactions should be entered in the cash book as soon as they occur and attested by head of the office in token of check. Monetary. Question 65. Which rule in the Central Government Account Receipts and Payments Rules 1983 provide general instructions for handling cash? 13(1)(3). 66. Can a separate register be maintained for each class of contingent charges? Yes, if more convenient. Question 67. Bill of contingent charges requiring counter signature before payment shall be drawn in form GAR 32. Question 68. Detailed contingency bill shall be signed by the head of office and submitted to the controlling officer bracket or if there be no controlling officer to the accounts officer direct bracket closed with all sub vouchers above dash his signature to the certificate endorsed on the bill taking the place of smaller ones. Rupees 50. Question 69. Which of the following is not a type of contingent charges envisaged in the relevant statute? Miscellaneous contingencies. Question 70. The dash is personally responsible for the amount drawn on a bill signed by him or on his behalf until he has paid it to the persons entitled to receive it and has obtained a legally valid acquaintance. Head of office. Question 71. If a mistake is discovered in the cash book, it should be corrected by drawing the pen through the incorrect entry and inserting the correct one in red ink between the lines. Question 72. Generally, bills for monthly pay and fixed allowances of government servants may be signed at any time not earlier than 5 days before the last working day of the month by the labor of which such pay and allowances are earned. Question 73. In the following cases, separate bills may be presented for pay and allowances, and such bills may be paid before the end of the month. A. When a government servant proceeds on transfer, deputation, leave, or vacation. B. When a government servant finally quits the service of the government or is transferred to foreign service or on deputation to a state government. Question C. When a government servant is transferred to another account circle or within the same account circle, when involving change of drawing and disbursing officer on account of transfer between or within civil ministries and departments. Answer D. All of the above. Question 74. Bills of for pay fixed allowances including permanent travelling allowances, conveyance allowances and leave salary shall be prepared in Form GAR 1313. Question 75. The following allowances payable to any public officer in the service of government shall be exempt from attachment by order of a court. A. All kinds of travelling allowances and conveyance allowances. B. All allowances granted for meeting the cost of uniforms and rations. C. All house rent allowances. Answer D. All of the above. Question 76. As Rule 80 of Central Government Account, Receipts and Payments, Rules 1983 draw of any allowances of a newly appointed government servant without medical certificate of fitness can be allowed by the competent authority for a period not exceeding 2 months. If, question 77, if a government servant in service dies, pay and allowance can be drawn for the day of the government servant's death irrespective of time of the death. Question 78. When in paying rewards to informers or in any other case, it is not desirable to disclose the names of the payees, a certificate to the effect that the payment has been duly made shall be submitted to the accounts officer in support of the payment in lieu of payee's receipt ordinarily required by the disbursing officer in his handwritings. Question 17. Head of office can delegate certain of his duties given in Rule 13 of Central Government Account, Receipts and Payments, Rules 1983, to a subordinate gazetted officer only. Question 80. The form in which receipt for the money received on behalf of the government is issued is GAR 6. Question 81. If the name of a government servant who had previously held another post in government is included for the first time in an establishment pay bill, then it should be supported by last pay certificate issued by the previous DDO. Question 82. The interim action plan financial year 2021 did not mandate issue of notice under section 148 in respect of cases identified for issue of notice under section 148. Question 83. In which of the following is correct in respect of interim action plan 2021? Interim action plan calls for checking all demands pan-wise and tan-wise. Question 84. What is the time limit for passing a penalty order under section 18(1)(c) of the Wealth Act 1957 pursuant to an order which is the subject matter of revision under section 25(2) of the Wealth Act 1957? 6 months from the end of the month in which such order of revision is passed. Question 85. Which of the following statement regarding interim action plan 2021 is correct? Disposal of all applications for grant of registrations under section 12AA or 80G of the Income Tax Act received up to 31/3/2020. Question 86. Which of the following statement is false? Outstanding demand as on 30/9/2020 in CAP1 only reflects outstanding arrear demand. Question 87. Which of the following statement is true? Dossier cases are those cases where cumulative outstanding demand exceed rupees 10 lakhs. Question 88. Which of the following cases where survey under section 133A was undertaken is not to be selected for compulsory scrutiny as per Scrutiny Guidelines 2020? A. Cases where books of accounts has been impounded. B. Cases where disclosure has been retraced subsequent to survey proceeding. C. In respect of cases where returned income, including disclosure, is higher than returned income for the immediately previous annual year, but returned income excluding disclosure is lesser than returned income of the immediately preceding annual year. Answer D. None of the above. Question 89. As per Scrutiny Guidelines 2020, which of the following statement is false? The jurisdictional assessing officer will refer to the survey cases selected for compulsory scrutiny to the NEAC for issue of notice under section 143(2). Question 90. Which among the following is correct in respect of cases where notices under section 148 were issued as per Scrutiny Guidelines 2020? Where no return was furnished in response to notice under section 148, the jurisdictional officer will issue notice under section 142(1) calling for information in respect of issues on the basis of which notice under section 148 was issued. Question 91. Which of the following cases is not to be selected for compulsory scrutiny as per Scrutiny Guidelines? Cases where notice was issued under section 148 on the basis of AAR information and the assessee filed return in response of the said notice. Question 92. Which of the following is not proper procedural steps by the assessing officer after receipt of report from INCI indicating evasion of tax by the assessee? Issue notice under section 148 to the assessee on the basis of content of the report only. Question 93. Which of the following statement is incorrect? An assessing officer has to take approval from principal CIT or CIT before issue of notice under section 148 in respect of all cases sought to be reopened. C. Time limit for reopening of assessment if it relates to asset located outside India is 15 years. Both the statements above are incorrect. Question 94. As per CBDT instructions issued in the year 2020, following action has to be approved by the CCIT or DGIT of respective charges regions. Passing of assessment orders under section 143(3) involving additions exceeding rupees 25 crore. Question 95. Which of the following statement is correct? The assessing officer has to issue notice under section 143(2) within a prescribed time limit on receipt of return in response to notice under section 148. Question 96. Which of the following communication from the Income Tax Department is not considered as adverse communication in view of CBDT Central Action Plan 2020 dated 8/5/2021? Appeal effect order providing relief to the assessee. Question 97. Which of the following is correct? The assessing officer can reopen an assessment if he has reasons to believe that income has been escaped assessment. Question 98. Which of the following statement is incorrect in respect of reopening the assessment? The belief in respect of reopening can be formed by the additional commissioner or commissioner also on which the assessing officer can reopening proceeding. Question 99. If the assessee files an objection to the reason recorded before the assessing officer has to dispose of the objection by passing a speaking order. Question 100. In course of recovery, survey proceeding, If huge unaccounted cash is found and TRO decides in consultation with his higher authorities not to convert in search and seizure proceeding, then the TRO can ask his inspector TRI to take further action by issuing ITCP 2.